If you came for ties, there are a good many in here, but I also wanted to showcase some of the other stuff that I sell as well. So let's get right into it. 30 consecutive items, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I didn't cherry pick, so you can see what's great to do and maybe some stuff you want to avoid too, because I'm not immune to selling crap from time to time. So this first one, fantastic find. Always love to find Filson, CC Filson. Pick up absolutely every piece you find. Even if they're damaged, if they're vintage items, they'll probably still sell. And this one had a tag on it too. And the thrift store missed that tag, so they had this price at like $6. It would have been priced a lot higher if they saw it had the tags. A blue chambray shirt, $64.95. Up next, we do have a tie. If you've seen any of my tie videos, you know I'm a huge fan of picking up vintage Brooks Brothers rep ties. That's what this is. $22.95, free shipping. There's your nice vintage tag there. Made in the USA, fabric woven in England. Solid bread and butter pickup anytime you find those if they are in good condition. And here is a Jerry Garcia tie. As always with these, you want really nice, bright, colorful, eye-catching kind of patterns. This one does have some beigey brown stuff going on, but I just thought it was a funky, psychedelic enough looking pattern to sell, and got $15.95 for it. About what you can expect on a good-looking Jerry Garcia tie. Here's a pair of Vineyard Vines chinos. Actually don't recommend picking these up. I just grabbed them because they somehow lasted till 99-cent day at Salvation Army. And they did sell for $15.95 plus $6 shipping. And they sold relatively fast for me. That's my knock on a lot of Vineyard Vines stuff. The sell-through rate is just not there. And I thrifted stuff I want to flip quickly and keep it moving. But got lucky on those. And then contrast that with a Vineyard Vines pants I do recommend picking up. This is the OTG, or the on-the-go performance chino. So what we have here is the rule of material, and these are a cotton nylon spandex blend, or elastane blend. So that nylon blend is giving it the performance qualities. These are very popular, sell way faster than your other more standard Vineyard Vines chinos, and for more money, as you can see, $34.95. These were free ship because the performance blends typically don't weigh a lot and go under a pound. Here's another tie. It's a Daniel Cremieux 7-fold tie. Was actually just featured in my What is a 7-fold tie video, the last video I released. And this sold in just a couple days for me once I listed it after making that video for $32.95, free shipping. Go watch the video if you need to know about 7-fold ties. This is a vintage Givenchy, and normally I would not pick this up. So this was not a thrifted tie. This came in an auction lot where I got a couple dozen ties and thought this had the right vintage look to go ahead and list, and it did sell pretty quickly for $15.95 free ship. But normally I'm leaving this label behind at the thrift store. It's a B-tier luxury brand, and there's not a lot of demand for it. Here is a Robert Talbot. It is a rep tie, which is why I bought it. Don't buy every Robert Talbot tie you see, but certain situations you can go ahead and pick up, and this would be one of them. And got above average price on it for Robert Talbot, $22.95 free ship. Here we got another tie. This is a Brooks Brothers bow tie, and this one is very cool for two reasons. One, I was at a thrift store the other day, and someone had very clearly donated a whole collection, and there were like 20 bow ties there, and I was able to go through and cherry pick, and I think I got like a dozen, 12 or 13 bow ties for $1 each. It was a great day. But the other thing that was cool about this, I got this lovely message on it offering $10. Now keep in mind, I have it listed for $24.95. So if you're going to come at me with less than half of my asking price, I'm not going to take you seriously. So I messaged back, declining. And then they wrote back, no worries. When you're tired of it in your inventory, my offer still stands. And then, of course, just a couple days later, it sold for full price, $24.95 free ship. So you don't have to listen to the low ballers. If you're going to come at me with an offer, I'll make a deal, but don't start at less than half. We're just not going to go there. And here is another Robert Talbot rep tie. Found this at the same time as the other one and priced at the same, $22.95. Both of those sold within just a couple of days. All right, so that was 5 ties in a row right there. And I did want to mention I have taken everything I know about ties and written it down and put it into 2 documents. The first one is Ties 101, which is more general tie knowledge and types of ties to look for and things like that. The other one is the brand and sourcing guide, which is what I have on the screen here. So it comes with sourcing strategies, how to apply these sourcing strategies to just about 100 brands. Let's start with how I approach a rack of ties. What are some of the tie types I look for? And then we just get into all these different brands, what sourcing strategy to use on them, what sells within the brand, what doesn't, when to pick, when to pass, all that kind of good stuff. And the 2 documents together wound up being like 165 pages. So I literally wrote the book on how to flip ties on eBay. And those are available for you right down in the description below. Please check them out and let me know what you think. All right, here's a nice Brooks Brothers. This Madras patchwork plaid is always a good look. I'm not going to pick it up in Izod and stuff like that usually. But when you compare it with a brand like Brooks Brothers and a big size like XXL, it's a pretty solid pickup. You don't have to let it go for 20 bucks. I priced this at $42.95, and somebody came along and picked it up in short order. So definitely look out for that type of patchwork stuff. No, electronics. I thought you just sold clothes. I do sell stuff other than clothes. Clothes is my bread and butter. That's my wheelhouse. I picked this up mainly because it was like $5. And it still had the dust cover intact. So I thought, if nothing else, somebody would probably want this dust cover to go on an old unit. It was listed for quite a while. It turned out not to be a popular model and all that type of thing. So it just sat around for a while until it finally sold for 99 bucks plus calculated shipping. And then I remembered that morning why I don't like selling this stuff. It took me like 40 minutes to pack it up and make sure it was good to go. Here's yet another Robert Talbot rep tie. If you don't know what a rep tie is, go watch my video, What is a Rep Tie? Learn that. And if you want to just completely transform your tie selling game from, I don't know, ties never sell, they're so slow, to I'm selling ties all the time, the rep tie will lead you to that situation. So make sure you go check that. And again, $24.95. And Robert Talbot is one of the most listed tie brands on eBay. There's thousands of them. There's tons of competition. But if you know what to look for, you can get those quick sales and those nice prices. Here is a Travis Mathew golf polo shirt. I pass on most Travis Mathew polo shirts. I do really like to buy the golf pants. Those sell incredibly well. But when I find one like this that's not just plain, like this one had a cool little pattern. There were sombreros and tacos and cacti sprinkled throughout. I thought, yeah, somebody probably wants that. And the condition was right. Everything was good. XL, decent size. So I actually wound up selling in about a week for $24.95. FootJoy, it's just a frustrating brand. It's one that you want it to be better than it is. So I very rarely pick up FootJoy polo shirts. I just don't see the sales number there to get the quick sales that I'm looking for. But these pants, Dry Joys by FootJoy, essentially rain pants. And they're usually big enough and like the sides open up that I think you wear them over other pants. Like when you're out golfing and it's really wet, like it rained the night before. I don't know, but people seem to like them. So I picked these up for $5 and got 30 bucks plus shipping for them. And again, they sold pretty quickly. Here is, this did not sell quickly. This took a long time to sell. And it's actually the second one of this exact same shooting shirt that I've sold. And I found them at different times and all that. And the first one sold faster and for more money. This one just didn't want to move and was sitting around. Thought it was really cool, digital camo print, Hoyas, I think a team that has a fan base and all that kind of stuff. Just took a long time to sell. Had it priced higher at some point, lowered the price. It finally moved for 40 bucks. Up next, we've got a pair of vintage Levi's 501s. Not super vintage though, they're made in Mexico, but they're still vintage. And just a super, super flooded brand and super flooded item within the brand. So not a quick seller. Only got $22.95 plus 8.5 shipping. And I actually don't remember how long these have been listed. It's just slow mover. If you get it super cheap, maybe you want to go for it. But most of the time, Levi's, I try to stick to made in the USA stuff. All right, here's our first suit item. This is Ralph Lauren. Really interesting thing I find about the suit category anyway is the power of the two-piece suit. You really need both pieces. Don't buy just a suit jacket. But when you find a two-piece suit, brands like Ralph Lauren that are normally a hard pass, Joseph A. Bank, they can be in play in certain situations. And in this situation, we had a 48 short. 48 is a very big suit size. And normally we want big sizes. This is a big size, but a short rather than like a tall, like an XLT or something. But I've found that there are a lot less short jackets than there are long jackets. So there's less competition there. I haven't really run the numbers to see if it's a thing or not. But just know, Ralph Lauren in a two-piece suit is something that you can move. I get suits for 10 bucks, usually $5 sometimes. I've even gotten them for $1 before. So any of those amounts turned into 80 bucks is plus 10 shipping is a great deal in my book. I love selling suits. You just want the two-piece suit. Here's a fantastic label to pick up in suiting, Suit Supply. I will pick up anything in this label, even if it's just the suit jacket. I'll probably still pick it up and it'll probably still sell. It's a very hot seller, desirable brand. People love their suits. So here we've got a two-piece suit. It was a 40 short. And you see the price there, $142.95 plus shipping on top. Fantastic brand. If you can find it, definitely pick it up. Here's a brand that makes really nice suiting, Oxford with 2 X's. In this case, sport coat, and it did take a while to sell. It is a pretty common size in the 44. And like with all things in the suit category, a two-piece suit is probably going to move better. But I'd still say this label's a worthy pickup. When you find it, if you're not overpaying, you might have to wait a little while, but to get 70 bucks plus 10 shipping on a $5 or $10 item is probably okay. But I do wish that this had sold faster. It's been sitting around for a little while. Here we got another suit item. This is a sport coat. This is a Brooks Brothers. If I'm picking up Brooks Brothers, I either want a two-piece suit. I will sometimes pick up Brooks Brothers sport coats in situations like this. One, I have a nice big size, 48. And then this wasn't just a standard material kind of sport coat. It was a silk, linen, and wool blend, and it was also made in Italy. So it had a lot of different factors that pointed towards this being potentially a good buy. But the main thing, honestly, is the big size. Big sizes in Brooks Brothers sport coats, you can move. There's going to be a lot of competition. It's flooded. It's a popular brand. But if you can grab sport coats for $5, $6, $7, sell them for 50 bucks plus 10 shipping, it's going to be a good deal for you in the end. Oh, I really like this suit. Peter Millar two-piece suit. Found this at a Goodwill where suits they're like $13.89 or something like that, or 14 bucks basically. Definitely picking this up. And this suit actually fits me. 42 are going to fit really well. And I even had an event at work that could have justified wearing a suit. I was like, ooh, I'm going to wear that. I'm going to wear that Peter Millar suit to that thing. And you know what? As soon as I had that thought, within a couple hours, the suit sold. That's just how it goes sometimes. You think about your inventory, or you touch a particular piece of inventory, and off it goes out into the wild. That's just funny how it works. Yeah, but Peter Millar, I don't find super often in the suiting category, but when I find it, I'm usually going to pick it up. Again, abiding by the rule, if it's only a suit jacket, I'm probably going to pass on it. Two-piece suit, I'll pick up all day long. And we're going to head back over to the ties. Christian Dior, not a brand of tie I'm going to pick up very often. This one actually came in that auction lot that I mentioned earlier. So I went ahead and listed it because I already own the thing. And it did wind up selling pretty quickly for $12.95 free shipping. Dior, like the Givenchy we saw earlier, it's just kind of a B-tier luxury brand. It's not one where there's a lot of demand and thus not a lot of value. So that's why it was listed cheap. But don't be thrifting those. And speaking of not thrifting things, we are never, ever going to thrift Bill Blast ties under almost any circumstances. I mean, never say never, but don't thrift Bill Blast ties. This tie came in a bulk order. I'll occasionally buy a box of 100 ties or 200 ties or something like that. And you take the good with the bad. And this tie had a cool look to it with the diamonds and stuff like that. It's probably been listed over 2 years. It finally sold for $14.95 free shipping. And just like I said, don't thrift Bill Blast ties. It's not going to do you any favors. All right, here is a fantastic sport coat. Other than the size, 38 regular is a very small sport coat. But anytime I find Harris tweed, really doesn't matter what the brand label is. In this case, it was Allen St. George. I'm always going to pop on Harris tweed if it's priced normally in like $5 to $8 range is what I'm usually paying for a sport coat. I'm definitely going to pick it up unless there's severe condition issues, because Harris tweed always sells. It always sells quickly for me, and it's pretty much always $50 and up. This one I got $54.95 plus 10 shipping. So look out for that Harris tweed label and probably pop on it anytime you see it. That is the rule of fabric. Look out for those branded fabrics. Sometimes they'll make you money. Speaking of the rule of fabric, Smart Wool. Fantastic brand to pick up in pretty much all items. They're known for their merino wool base layers. That's what this is. Very desirable. Price that at $42.95. And that's a brand that a lot of your thrift stores don't know to price up. I got this, I think, at a Goodwill for $4. So that's a fantastic turnaround, 4 into 40. So definitely pick that up. That's actually on my list of 54 can't miss menswear brands. If you want to check that out, it'll be in the description as well underneath the tie guides. This is another tie that came in that auction lot that I got with about 2 dozen ties. Now, Zegna, you could thrift this tie. You can thrift Zegna. I do by cherry pick it, but it's basically like a bread and butter type of tie label. I just prefer to look for the more attractive ones that I think are going to sell faster. Oddly enough, in this particular case, there were 4 or 5 other listings of that exact same print with the wheat motif. And as usual, didn't have trouble selling mine. $17.95 free ship. Here's another Brooks Brothers piece. This is not a big size, and it is a vintage blazer, but my thing with Brooks Brothers in particular, don't underestimate the power of the gold button blazer. And not just that, but across the suiting category, I find the classic looks often can do well. So just the classic navy blue blazer with the gold buttons. They have the Brooks Brothers Golden Fleece logo on there. This were a couple bucks and got $42.95 plus the 10 shipping on it. Definitely a good buy, and that was a time to stray away from the big size rule because of the power of the gold button blazer. All right, we're going to close it out with a couple more bow ties from that bow tie haul I mentioned earlier. This is another Brooks Brothers bow tie. Pretty classic look with the navy and red stripes. Rep silk, $24.95. Love that. Pick up 10, 11, 12 bow ties at $1 each. Sell a couple of them for 25 bucks, and you're living high on the hog at that point. And we got one more, another Brooks Brothers bow tie, vintage, and this is actually called a bat wing. So you'll notice the shape on the tips is different. It's just flat and square. That's called a bat wing. This is a slightly more rare type of situation, so price it up higher, $34.95. So from my bow tie haul of a dozen bow ties or whatever it was, I'm already at almost $100 gross, and I'm getting those for $1 each. It just makes so much sense to know how to sell ties if you're in thrift stores already. The opportunity is there. Like everything else, it's not always there. You can't force it, but take it when it is there, because it's really nice when it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I gave you some good pointers on what to look for, what to pick up, maybe some things to avoid as well. And I really hope you take a look at my tie guides down in the description.